Okay, for this follow-up video using the Monosequencer for drum programming, the difference between this one and the previous videos is that we'll be assigning a monosequencer for each drum voice. So we're basically going to be putting them into a rack. So I'm just going to prepare them. We're going to do a kick. I'm going to duplicate this, call it the snare, and then duplicate this one and call it the hi-hat. So what I'm also going to do is set the transport to sync. You can create really interesting things if it's not in sync with the transport in Ableton. Let's go for the 606. So the kick drum is going to be on C1 as we look here. So because the monosequencer, when it starts up, it's centered around C. For the kick, we're going to make this -24 semitones, so which is 2 octaves. Now the thing about the monosequencer is that it is playing on every step. So we have a number of things that we can do. The first is that we can set the number of pulses. So we could keep it at 16 steps and 16ths. So if we were doing 4 to the floor, I would recommend using the gates down below, the kick drum playing on quarter notes. There you go. So that's one solution. Obviously we could also select from the menu and turn it into a quarter note pulse, so we could do that as well. We can also take the braces and sort of shorten that down as well. So we've just got 4 hits, set them up for quarter notes. But we're going to keep every monosequencer at the same sort of resolution. Snare, kind of like the tighter one there, that's on C sharp. So being a snare on 2 and 4, so that's every 5 and 13. Again, we could, if we wanted to, change the pulse here. But what we also want to do is set it for C sharp. So C sharp will be -23, 1 less than 2 octaves, which was C. And there we go. So the hi-hats, as we can see them here, this one is on the note F sharp, is in the middle. It's at 6. It's equidistant between each octave. So if an octave is 12 semitones, the F sharp in this relationship here is 6. -24 take away 6 should get us to the hi-hat. So this should be kick on 4 to the floor, snares on 2 and 4, hi-hat 16th notes. So far so good. Now we could program this up in the MIDI window. There's actually no problem here. But let's look at the hi-hat. So we want the hi-hat to be 3/16. So what we could do is just shorten the braces here for the gates, the gate pattern. So that's already a difference. Now, one of the other things that we can do, which we looked at in some of the other videos, is also change the underlying pulse. So here's 16s as dotted rhythms, triplets, which might not be what we want. We might want 8th note triplets, not too bad, dotted 8th notes, quarter notes, could be interesting. Let's go back to 16ths. Now, one of the other parts that we looked at was this idea of the repeats. So the repeat is this thing, it's a ratchet, so it sort of creates a burst on any particular step. Let's put it somewhere else, 7. Maybe I'm a bit impatient, I don't know, but I kind of like to have a shorter relationship here, a shorter relationship between the numbers, not necessarily people. And there you go. So there's quite a lot of scope for you to kind of explore how to vary these sorts of patterns. And they can offer you an alternative to, say, more traditional kind of drum programming methods. And then, you know, you can change the underlying pulse. And let's say that we change the pulse relationship for all of them. So now they're all eighth notes. So we can do that. Okay, thank you very much for watching this, for taking the time to go through it. If you like the content that you've seen, please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you use the Monosequencer.